It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hey.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Sorry about that, Pete. All right.
Videos, Pete. Videos.
That's all right. Let's just start it right here, guys. How's everybody doing today? Sorry for the delay. To hell with the plan. We are up. We are out. Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. My goodness, everybody. The Lions are going to the NFC Championship game.
Look, shit happens, though. We're back. We're ready to rock and roll. Lions won last night. They're going to the NFC Championship game. This is what we're here for. This is what we came to see all season long. We talked about the possibilities the Lions could get to this place. Ryan Ermanni, you called it a long time ago. Maz, you were on that bandwagon as well. The Lions have indeed gotten to the NFC Championship. Great game last night.
I still feel like I'm on drugs. It's even more now, more potent than ever.
You've been talking about drugs a lot lately, man.
I'm telling you,
worried
man.
About you.
I'm telling you. We had a great time yesterday watching this game. A lot of us got to be at that game. Ryan, you and your dad were there. I was there for a bit. Got back here. It's just a fantastic feeling. We're in the Final Four, guys.
Yeah.
Final Four.
You know, and it was 3 years to the day that Dan Campbell was talking about biting kneecaps and this, that, and the other thing. To see where it went from 3 years ago to on the field at Ford Field yesterday, winning the divisional round against the Tampa Bay Bucks and getting to the NFC Championship game. Braylon, Matt said it feels like you're on drugs or something like that. And I don't know about that part of it, but it feels like this euphoric sense. Being in the stadium yesterday, it felt like you were just floating a little bit with the crowd noise. But I woke up this morning, my ears were ringing still. And I couldn't believe, really, that we had just witnessed what we witnessed yesterday. And this football team, I keep going back to this. This football team didn't win that game yesterday. They won that game 3 years ago. Because for 3 years, they have been preparing for that game. Yeah. Every move, every roster decision, every draft pick was made with a direct and clear reason. And they were so prepared for this moment that there wasn't anything other than winning that game that was going to happen yesterday. And now it's on to San Francisco. Not done yet.
We talked about this all last week after they had won against the Rams, where Dan Campbell said it would be a 3-year process. And you talked about it. They doubled down on the players that they chose. And they doubled down on the players in which they chose in the draft, whether it's Jahmyr Gibbs, whether it's Sam Laporta, whether it's Jack Campbell, whether it's Penei Sewell. They doubled down on Amon-Ra St. Brown. They doubled down on not needing certain players, not spending money in free agency, not wasting money. They chose their core group of guys. And, Ryan, before we get into the game, I think you've seen it 2 weeks in a row. The people that they believe in, the people that they trust, the people that they brought in have ended the games for them. Last week it was Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown closing the game out. This week it's a guy that they got 3 years ago out of Purdue who's a friend and family member of the show. We had him on. It's Derek Barnes, a guy that they said he's not the best linebacker. You guys should maybe get rid of him, get somebody else, add this piece, go get this guy. They kept him, and look who gets the game-winning interception. It's Derek Barnes.
Fantastic end to that game. I thought they were going to keep the ball like they did against the Rams. And when they first got the ball, they flipped the coin, they win the toss, they give us the ball. And they go 3 and out. I was like, this ain't the same defense that they played last week. This Tampa defense was ready. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, man. He really is. He was ready for that game. But the Lions, they knew they had it. I never was in doubt that whole game. Even when we gave them the ball back with 2.5 minutes to go, I'm like, they're not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere. And to me, going for 2 at the end, they did us a favor. I'll never understand it. I don't care what the numbers say. I'll never understand it. Tell me it doesn't take a little away from your team after you score a touchdown, go for 2 and miss it. Lions did their job. They stepped up when they needed it. Everyone did their job. 2 interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the best backs in the country. In the NFL. I'm so happy. I'd rather have him than any other running back in the game.
Yeah, you'll get no pushback from me there. They stood on business. Look, that game was over in the first quarter. You saw the 2 drops by Mike Evans. 1 led to an interception, and then you saw 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3 free sacks. That offensive line was out of sorts. The running back Rashad White couldn't pick up a blitz to save his life. They used Ty Bowles' own method against him. But one thing I saw, like Tom Maswell, I was talking to this guy at YMCA that was working out to get myself a workout in. And just talking to an older guy named Douglas, works behind the counter.
What's up, Douglas?
What up, Doug? How you doing out there, big Doug?
Come on, Craig.
Behind the counter, he said he was 9 years old in 1957 when Bobby Lane won. He said he didn't ever think he would see this again in his life. He said, you know what, Braylon? I said, what's going on, Doug? Talk to me. He said, you know how the theme song goes for the Lions? You know that part, the team that will not yield? He said, that's who the Lions are. And I had to steal that line from Doug today. That's who this team is, no matter what it takes to get it done, whether it's running the clock out, whether it's getting a touchdown in the clutch, whether it's getting an interception in the clutch. It just seems like all season long, the Detroit Lions have been able to rise to the occasion when they need be, whether it's the defense, whether it's Jared Goff, whether it's Aaron Glenn, whether it's Ben Johnson, whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, whether it's Derek Barnes. Somebody or one unit is going to find a way to win games for the Detroit Lions. That part, the team that will not yield, well, it's starting to be a true part.
Sorry, I'm doing essentially show prep on the air. I'm just not sure what we have technically. Pete, do we have video or we don't have video? Okay, this is Dan Campbell in the locker room after the game.
Lost it. Hang on, guys. Hang on there. I lost it. Here we go.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you, we talked about it all year. This started a long time ago. You're built for this. You're built for this, man. And look what you guys did. You went out there, and it's another hot team that we knocked off. It's the next hot team that you knock off. Do you know how hard it is to win in this league in the playoffs? Do you understand what you're doing right now? What we're capable of? That's 2. All right? That's 2. We got 2 to go. With a bye in the middle. I'm unbelievably proud of everybody in here, man. Coaches, player. That's the way to mount up, man. That's a fucking difficult team to beat, man. All right, I got 1 game ball. Man, in the game, need to fucking play. Derek Barnes.
Hey, man, love y'all boys, man. From the support in the linebacker room, the coaches, staff, organization, offense, man. 3 years, man. It took me 3 years to get the first interception. But it means more because the people who believed in me. A lot of people didn't. The room. This ball, I got to give it to the linebacker room because I said we was going to bring one back, and God, we did. And you got to believe how far we can go, man. Yes, believe it now. Believe it now. This is a good win. Enjoy it, man. This comes once in a lifetime. Like Alex used to tell me, man, a lot of people don't make it this far, but we did, man. I love everybody in this room, man. Everybody in here deserve it. That's why we here, like Coach said. Hey, man, time to prepare for San Fran.
Just an incredible moment in the locker room yesterday for the Detroit Lions. And you can see, and Dan can't look. The head coach of the organization is the leader, right? I mean, everybody looks at the head coach. The head coach is the face of the organization. When you think of a football team, in many instances, in most instances, you think of who that head coach is. That head coach completely changed the face of the Detroit Lions. And then you take it a step further. They're not here without these rookies. You look at that general manager. Each and every single draft, each and every pick was essentially used, from Derek Barnes, the interception. Amon-Ra St. Brown, we take Amon-Ra for granted. Amon-Ra is a 4th-round pick. He was passed over 100 times before the Lions picked him in the 4th round. What about Alex Anzalone coming over from New Orleans? Who brought him here?
Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes.
What about Jared Goff? Jared Goff, you're not good enough here.
Josh Reynolds.
What about Josh Reynolds coming here, a midseason trade to get Remember they signed who were the wide Perriman and Williams.
Yep,
I think it was.
Perriman and Williams. You got
Both
it.
guys didn't even make the team out of camp. So let's go get Josh Reynolds to help Jared Goff out.
And he did.
What about Jahmyr Gibbs? You can't possibly take a running back that high.
They gave them a D grade for that pick.
Every step along the way, these guys have been right. And this has become one of the greatest organizations in sports. The Detroit Lions organization, not only a great organization in the NFL, they're a great organization in professional sports from top to bottom.
Yeah, when you look at ownership, you want to look at competency. You look at the front office. You want to look at how do they get players in? Do they get the right players? How do players feel once they get here? How do they feel about ownership? How do they feel about coaching? Did they get the coach right? Look, man, everything you said, I agree with. And you listen to what Brad Holmes said last week in the locker room. What did he say? I love each and every single one of the guys in this locker room. That's because they hand-picked these guys. They hand-picked Derek Barnes. They stood with Derek Barnes. They stood with the rest of the players on his team. So they're doing it the right way. And when you say one of the best franchises top to bottom, it's so crazy. We wouldn't have said that a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Now when you look at it, you look at what Sheila Hammond has done. You look at what Brad Holmes has done. He believes in his players. There's a feeling here. These guys love being a part of Detroit. These guys want to be here. These guys know that they're going to do great things here. So it's fun to watch, man. And we watched it from 3 years ago, like you said, biting kneecaps and drinking 2 pikes from Starbucks every day. Now here we are, and you look at him. One thing I love about Dan Campbell is in the big moments, he's still going to keep you focused on what's going on. He didn't, last week when they beat the Rams, he didn't say this is the end all be all. Oh, yeah, we did it. We beat the Rams. He focused them on the next game. What did he say in there? He said, we beat the last 2 hottest teams. The Rams were this hot team, smacked them. The Bucs were this hot team, smacked them. He said, now we got to play another game with a bye in the middle of the last game. So I think he's keeping guys focused on the message that is, you're not just trying to get to the NFC Championship because the Lions haven't been in 32 years. You're not trying to get to the Super Bowl. The goal is to win it all every year, and I think the Lions are finally being believed to have a chance to win it all.
The Lions have just won 2 win or go home games against 2 teams that have been Super Bowl teams. The Lions are in the Final 4. They have not trailed in the playoffs yet. They've tied twice, but they have not trailed and given up the lead in this series so far. I expect them to go to San Francisco and give them everything that they want because the Packers should have knocked them off.
Yeah, we'll get to the Packers and the 49ers in a minute, man. But just sticking with the Lions right now, man, it's like you're absolutely correct. And they've done it in 2 different ways. You see it in which they played the game last week. A little bend but don't break in the defense in the red zone. That's when they got good. They struggled out in the field. They gave up some big plays. But they didn't break. You saw what they were able to do in the second half and shutting Matt Stafford down when they needed to. In this game, they took a page out of Todd Bowles' book. They said, oh, you guys got the best blitz and safety in Antoine Winfield? BS, prove it. Here's Melifonwu. Here's Brian Branch. Those guys were dominant in the game. Aiden Hutchinson. 8 sacks in the last 4 games. We could talk about that till we're blue in the face. But they did it a different way. That defense was just as physical as they were the last game. And on offense, Ben Johnson called, so he made some plays that I think they now put him at the top of the list in terms of what I think of an offensive coordinator and guys moving things around. The fact that he took David Montgomery out of the game, used Jahmyr Gibbs more against their blitz, and then on the 4th down to give the ball to Craig Reynolds, a guy that runs just a little bit tougher than Dave Montgomery. They wasn't expecting it, thought it was going to be. Ben Johnson called a hell of a game. Aaron Glenn called a hell of a game. And there's a reason why those are 2 of the hottest candidates on the market as it relates to being a head coach.
I just remember over the years, you get to the wild card round and then you get to the divisional round. And the divisional round was always different than the wild card round because that's when the teams that normally had the byes, that's when they played.
Yeah.
And
the big boys.
That was the real football, right?
It was.
Wild card round football was kind of like a little bit of a consolation prize. Maybe you'd have a wild card team win a game here and there, but then they'd go to the divisional round and get whipped up by one of the big boys, and you'd say, okay, can I ever see the Detroit Lions, forget about NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game, I'm talking about divisional round play. Could they ever be one of the teams that's expected to win a game in this round? And you're like, Never in a million years you could fathom that. And then being in the stadium yesterday, I'm looking, and it's the divisional round of the NFL playoffs,
Yeah.
and I can't fathom them at any point along the way losing that game yesterday. And that is a mindset, that is a belief that why not us? And each year is so unique. I've been saying this forever, and I'll continue to say it. Enjoy these moments. Enjoy last week against the Rams. Enjoy yesterday against the Tampa Bay Bucks, because you never know when this is going to happen again. And I'm not saying the Lions are going to go south. I mean, I think they're on a steady incline for the next 5-6 years. And I've said that from day one. I thought this was year one of a 5 to 6 year situation where they're going to be competing for Super Bowls. But even so, you can win 12 games next year and never have another playoff game next year. If Green Bay wins 12 and they get the tiebreak, you never know how it's going to shake out. Because this division is going to be so good it might be the best division in football over the next few years. But I just can't believe we're here. It's almost surreal to even, here we are, what's today, January 22nd?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Lions, not about the draft, not about a season recap. We're talking about they are 4 quarters away from the Super Bowl in Las Vegas.
This is the greatest time in sports talk history in Detroit. This is it. I was driving down Woodward yesterday, going to park before the game. Every place is Lions. Every billboard is Lions. Even the street signs that say, turn left here, turn right here, this is closed, blah. And then it says, go Lions. And it's everyone is happy. You walk around in the concourse, people are drinking a lot, right? There's a lot of drunk people bumping into each other. No one cares. Everyone's happy. There's no fights. Did you see any fights?
Not one.
Everyone is so happy. And what do we see in the NFL all year? You go to San Francisco, go to Oakland, go to Vegas, go to wherever. There's always fights in the stands.
Notice the 3 cities, the 3 teams you name, all West Coast, all have a certain type of fan base. Yeah. When you're winning, especially here in Detroit, they've been waiting to win for so long. It's just like we talk about the Major League movie. When the 2 different guys, you got the punk rocker and the guy looks like he works construction, like the village guys, and they hug after they win. That's what it is. Winning takes care of all, and these people have been waiting a very long time to win. I got a thought, though, in terms of the noise. This is what I think in terms of the noise. I think with each thing the Lions team does, it gives this city that much more confidence in what they can do. So the Lions 12-5, they win the North. Okay, cool. They won 12-5, they win the North. We got a little confidence now. The Lions beat Matt Stafford, so you don't get the headline. Stafford wins at home, doesn't play for the Lions, blah, blah. They win that game. Now it's getting less quiet because there's more confidence. You don't need to be as loud and excited and cheering when you know you're going to win, when you believe this is a precursor to more. So I think it was a lot of good energy, but I think the Lions fan base now knows the team that hails at Ford Field. I think they now know what they're capable of, and I think they're seeing for the first time that the Lions truly are a Super Bowl contender. And right now, with the way things shape up, watch out.
Let's just talk about the crowd for a second, because as you mentioned, there was no fights. There was no. This team has, I think, brought this city together unlike anything I've ever seen.
That's a fact.
In a time when we as a people in Detroit, in Michigan, in the country are so fractured. Everybody goes to their own little camps, political lines, racial lines, religious lines. Man, you go to a Lions game at Ford Field, or you go to the bar and you're watching it with your friends, or maybe you got a watch party in your neighborhood in the cul-de-sac somewhere over there. You don't care who voted for who. You don't care what bills you're laid on this month. You don't care anything. You're just hugging and high-fiving with everybody because you are rooting for the Detroit Lions. And I just think that sports brings, and it's interesting, Braylon, because you're a guy that played sports your whole life. Guys like Maz and I, we watch sports our whole life, so it might be a little bit of a different dynamic, but maybe not, because on a team, You don't care if the right guard is white, black, a Biden voter, a Trump voter.
Can you play football? And are you part of
you
the team?
don't care if what religious affiliation he is.
Yeah.
You're just it's the same thing with a fan base of a team, man. And it is so great to be able to come together. Really, the spirit of Detroit, not to get all sappy on you, but the spirit of Detroit really is on full blast right now, and it's so great to be down there. I was so happy to be down there yesterday and to see everybody hugging everybody and high-fiving.
Yeah, you're
pretty awesome.
You're definitely not getting sappy. I mean, sports and music are the great equalizers. Maz, you agree?
Oh,
sports and music. I mean, look, you can go back to the 40s, the 60s. You can see what Jackie Robinson did. You can see, just keep going down the list. We can talk about all that, but just sticking here in Detroit, like Detroit is a segregated city. So no matter how you want to look at it, Detroit is a segregated city. But as the Lions have won, it's kind of like Michigan. These fan bases, they start not looking at that. It was like, you support the Lions, I support the Lions. The Lions win. How you feeling? I feel good. You feel good. Let's go. Let's go have a drink. Hey, the city is on fire right now, man. You start with Michigan, and then now you get to the Lions. Now the Lions are about to do something that's even bigger than what the Michigan did. So it's fun to see the city. Everybody's rocking together. Like everybody's partying together, hanging together. Like you woke up on the better side of the bed today. You're like, hey, you know what? Life's not so bad. The Detroit Lions are bringing the city together. And this is a city that has long deserved it. So I'm happy for these Detroit Lions because I'm born and raised here 41 years in a month. I ain't never seen anything like this.
Hey, man, I was born and raised in Jersey and New York. Moved here 31 years ago. I've been waiting my whole Detroit life for this moment. Hey, I was there for the Red Wings. I was there for the 04 Pistons, the Tigers run. Nothing is even close to this. This Lions team is Detroit. This is a team that's been crapped on forever, since 57. One time we were good. 2 times maybe. We had the greatest running back of all time, one of the greatest receivers of all time. Never really had that stud quarterback. Jared Goff is now our quarterback. He's our guy. He's our guy. He represents Detroit. He represents Detroit. And I honestly, guys, listen to me. 31 years here, 31 years in Jersey. I'm a Detroiter through and through. I swear to you. I love my New York teams. I love my family. I love my pizza. But Detroit is my home. I love it here. I'm proud to be from here. And when I go home, I wear all my Detroit gear. I am a Detroit Lion. I am.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You know, I actually lost my train of thought. I just listening to you talk. But
let me pick it up for you then.
Please do so.
Because as you talk like that, Maz, did you see the front page of the Post today or the back page of the Post?
Damn right.
The Detroit Lions truly are America's team.
Yep.
I mean, on the back page of the New York Post or the front page of whatever side you look
page,
at,
back sports.
the sports page, you see a big picture of the Detroit Lions, the real America's team. Everybody is rooting for this team, and I sent a bunch of tweets in earlier. And again, the technical difficulties, I don't know if we have any of them, but the point is, no matter who it is, no matter where you are in the country, you are rooting for the Detroit Lions. You know, like even guys like Mike Greenberg from ESPN, every coach in every sport talks about creating a culture. Dan Campbell has actually done it in a place that often felt like it would never happen. No matter how much credit you give him, it's not enough. Jay Glazer from Fox Sports. Wow, City of Detroit, you deserve this. You so deserve this. Lions on to the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. What about the former Lions players?
Oh, my
Snacks
God.
Harrison. Hey, I played with the Detroit Patriots. Can I get a division winner t-shirt for my troubles? Lions. He's happy. Darius Slay. This is big for Detroit. Truly happy for them guys. Quandre Diggs. That's big for Detroit, the city of city and the organization. They earn that. Joey Blue Skies. Joey frickin' Harrington. Yep. Somebody tweeted to him with the Joey Harrington jersey that was in the crowd. Gotta admit, building Legos with my youngest while watching and cheering for the Detroit Lions and listening to Motown in the kitchen was not something I had on my bingo card 15 years ago. Love this for the city of Detroit.
Pete had his Harrington jersey on yesterday.
So many people want in on this. So many people
Golden
feel
Tate.
good about this. Golden Tate, Stephen Tulloch, Glover Quinn. everybody, Bray. It is so
Indomitian
awesome
Sue.
to see.
Indomitian Sue.
Indomitian Sue tweeted
He don't
out
tweet.
a lion.
And he doesn't do that.
He don't tweet.
He only tweets financial advice that he got from Warren Buffett.
100%. Man, you
And I can't forget Cliff Averill either. I'm sorry.
That's my guy.
Cliff Averill won a Super Bowl
with the Seahawks.
But he is tweeting about how great he feels for the city of Detroit. This city impacts people.
Yeah.
And impacts players in a positive way, unlike any other town, I think, in the country.
Two things you touched on. I want to touch on one of them. Pause. The first one is talking about the city of Detroit. All the players that leave here, regardless of their experience, Dante Culpepper was one of my big brothers. Used to talk to him all the time. He said, "Man, I love Detroit." I was like, "Y'all were terrible when you said, man, I love the city though, man. It was good people with stuff to do." People love the city. People, when they come here and play for the team, regardless if it was the 0-16 team, Dan Orlovsky's always talked about his love for Detroit, even way before the Jared Goff and Matt Stafford thing. He went 0-16. People love it here. You're absolutely right. They connect to the city. But the reason why Detroit is America's team, just in my estimation, is because Detroit's real. Detroit's a real city. It goes through real issues. It's been embarrassed. Like, it's not at the forefront of anybody's thought process. And you look at a lot of these teams in there, they're the bigger teams, the prettier cities, and blah, blah, blah. But when you look at Detroit, people fall on hard times. People have to grit and grind and find a way through and make a way through. And when it looks darkest, you find your way through that storm. That's what the Lions have done. The Lions have been at the bottom of the barrel for a very long time, and they clawed and clawed and clawed. Here comes Dan, and every time you thought they might have got out, here comes Matt Patricia and Dan Quinn or Bob Quinn, and they knock them back down. And then you bring in Dan Campbell, and you bring in Brad Holmes, who wasn't too long before he was the GM of the Detroit Lions. He was working at Hertz. He was working at Enterprise car rental. These guys have built the culture. Sheila Hammond reworked where her name is. Her true last name is now her middle name, just so she can start over, so the franchise can start over. They double down on Jared Goff. They double down on everybody they draft. It is a family culture here. And the players here, they don't want to go anywhere else. When you get guys that believe in Dan Campbell and an identity like that, guys will sign for less. How you think? Why do players sign for less? Because they believe in the culture and they're winning. That's what you see. What are the Detroit Lions right now? They're a culture you believe in. They're America's team, and they're also winning. Incoming, a lot of people staying in Detroit for cheap.
How about that picture of Sheila Hamp in the owner's box, just standing there looking down?
I didn't see it. Being at the game, I didn't see it.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight. It was like a proud parent just looking down. And I go back to 3 Thanksgiving days ago, or 4 it was, against the Houston Texans, with her face in her hands, buried in her hands. And she said, "That's it. That's enough.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Patricia. Goodbye, Quinn. I'm going to get this right." And she hires Dan Campbell with the help of Chris Spielman, Mike Dissner, Rod Wood, and the rest of that executive board. And then they bring in Brad Holmes, and the rest is history.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Sheila just looking down, because I envisioned in my head being there, and my seats were row 39. There's 41 rows in the lower bowl, and I'm row 39, so I'm higher up on almost basically at the concourse level, looking down at the lower bowl.
Okay.
And there's a moment in that game where, you know, it's a great in-stadium entertainment at Ford Field now.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. And it's just so loud.
Great
and all
sound
of the
system.
lights are going flashing.
Yep.
And everything's going crazy, and the crowd is cheering. Baker Mayfield's in the huddle. It's a commercial break. So Baker's in the huddle. You're doing it, and the crowd is just losing their minds, and you just can't help but think about Ford Field. And after 22 years, there's finally memories being made in this building.
It's
right.
great.
And I thought, this is what they had in mind when they built Ford Field. This moment right now was exactly what Mr. Ford had in mind.
Mr. Ford.
When they built Ford Field. And I hope they took a minute. I hope everybody in that building, and Aiden Hutchinson seemingly did that on the field yesterday too. He just kind of stopped and stared and took it in. And I hope everybody in that building, hell, even if you weren't in that building, I hope you took a moment and were able to appreciate what was going on yesterday.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I watched the game at the house, man. Me and my girl, we sat there and watched, and just watching it was crazy, man. Like I'm thinking about all those Thanksgiving games I went to at the Silverdome with my dad, and it didn't happen. I thought about all the the 4 field games that I had been to. Thought about watching the Lions when I was in the NFL. Like, damn, they still can't get together. I remember 2008 being in Cleveland. Like, man, we suck. And then I'm watching the Lions go 0-16. I'm like, damn. My city just still can't get it right. And then you watch Calvin retire. You watch how Barry retired. It's just so many down points as living in Detroit that I can remember back to the Lions. But then the first opportunity they get at Ford Field, not only are they making it memorable, Ryan and Maz, like they're making it go the distance. Like they weren't satisfied with winning the North. They weren't satisfied with beating Matt Stafford. They're not satisfied beating Baker Mayfield. That's the thing that's driving me about the Detroit Lions, is they're not satisfied with just another notch in the belt. They want the notch. They want the Super Bowl. They want the 49ers, and they want their rematch against the Ravens because we know they're going to win.
Listen,
that's
man.
what they want, and I love watching it. It's getting me more and more and more
awesome.
that level of excitement.
Listen, man, I had 4 sisters, no brothers. I had 3 daughters, no sons. So I've had 7 straight women in my life.
Ouch.
I've always wanted a little brother. Always wanted a son. But I'll tell you what, my daughter Liliana, she got an internship this past summer with the Lions, and she's been with them since practice, since training camp. Yesterday, she's leaving at 7:30 in the morning, and I'm walking her outside. She's ready to leave, and she starts crying. Why? Lil, why are you crying? It's like, this is our last home game, Dad. I can't. I just want more. I just love this. I love this team. I can't believe that I waited as long as I did to love football as much as you, Dad. And she watched the game with me again last night. We were up to 2 in the morning.
What's
2 in the
better
morning.
than that?
I watched the game
You're
with
sick,
her.
man.
I'm sick. And guess what? She wakes up this morning. Dad, let's watch the 4th quarter. Okay. We'll watch the 4th quarter.
Before she went to school?
God, dude.
Yes, before she went to MSU.
You're sick, man.
Is that the greatest thing you ever
it's
heard?
amazing.
I'm obsessed with that.
I just,
think that's the greatest thing
Lily
in the
is the
world.
luck charm. Lily
so.
broke the jinx.
Oh, God.
Why not?
She's been there. You're right.
Why not?
Can I just say one little thing? And there's nothing negative that I'm going to say today. Just one little thing. Oh, Green Bay.
Oh.
And it's not that I don't like. I think there's plenty of time to talk about the Niners, and I do think the Lions are going to win that game. But there is plenty to talk about. I just wanted that game in Detroit because of that very
Season
thing,
tickets.
Tom Mazaway.
Yep.
I just wanted more. I just wanted the city of Detroit to be able to go watch their Lions at Ford Field
Wow.
or go downtown, have their parties at Eastern Market with the opportunity to win a game and go to the Super Bowl. Now, beggars can't be choosers. All right. We are going to be just fine heading out to San Francisco. But, man, if it wasn't a game that I felt Green Bay owned, led the whole way, and deserved to win, man, that one did stink. Because as you're at the game yesterday, you're saying to yourself, I just don't want this to end. I want another one and another one. I want to keep playing.
Yeah, from the standpoint that I'm new to the Lions fandom, you know, I've been in it now 3 years.
We welcomed you.
Now you did, and I appreciate. But but you know what? I also was wearing Lions stuff when we were 3-13-1. So like I was taking my fair share of jokes and comments, but I stayed the course. But I actually am excited that they got to go to San Fran. And because I think, Ryan, you've hit the nail on the head. This is something that Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes have built to last a very long time, at least a 6-7 year run. With that being said, I believe the Lions could be or should be the number 1 seed next season. They still have the same team in play. They'll have a chance to have the number 1 seed and have it next year. This year, I want it to play out like this. They got the Rams at home, then they got the Bucs. Now they got to go to the 49ers. I feel like if it would have been the Rams, the Bucs, and then Green Bay here, it would have been the same similar situation as the University of Michigan if they had to play Florida State. But instead, Michigan went through Alabama. I want the Lions to go through the 49ers. They're very beatable. We'll talk about that. Very invincible, especially with Deebo Samuel in question. Those guys have been – you beat them. Then you go face off against the Ravens, and then the years to come, now you get the NFC Championship. I'm like, damn, 1 year, all that, it'd be too much. You get 3 home playoff wins, you get the NFC Championship, and you get the draft, and you potentially win the Super Bowl. So you got to save something.
Let's play some Dan Campbell sound for you. There's going to be 3 different sound bites in a row, okay? Going to talk about being in the Final Four. Going to talk about how many people it takes to get here and what this gritty group means for the city. Here's Dan Campbell talking about the Final Four.
Here we are sitting, one of the last 4 teams. That was, that's the type of game that I envisioned against Tampa. I mean, that's an outstanding team. It's a hot team. We knew it was going to come down to the end. Look, I got a lot of really, really outstanding people around me. All right. And I'm fortunate. And it takes a village. And without everybody involved, without Brad Holmes, without Sheila, Rod, Chris Spillman, without Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Dave Phipp, I mean, you don't, I'm fortunate.
Could you imagine this 3 years ago to be 1 win away from the Super Bowl, today?
I envisioned that we would have a chance to compete with the big boys, and that's where we're at. All you got to do is get in. Well, I think it's important, right? You can't – I don't know if it's – it's not the first thing you think of if you go to L.A. or just in general, right? You got the sun, you got the beach, you got plenty of other things going on. And here, man, it's harsh winters, right? Auto industry, blue collar, things aren't always easy. And I just think that's what we were about. And that was, you want something the city can be proud of. Though you can look at those guys and say, man, I can back that guy. I can back that team. I can resonate with those group of guys. They're kind of salty. They don't quit. They play hard. And so I feel like we've done that. And I think these guys, they have a kinship with this city in this area, and they love it.
One of the things about Dan Campbell there talking about this gritty group for this gritty city is you could look at this roster, bunch of prove it guy, bunch of deals on prove me deals, prove it deals, 1-year contracts, rookie contracts. You could look at, just grab the roster. All right, I see myself in this person. I see myself in that person. These 2 guys over here, I see myself in that. Whether you're a sports fan or not, maybe somebody told you weren't good enough at life. Maybe somebody said you sucked at your job. We're going to get somebody else over here to replace you, or, just every step along the way, there's guys on this roster that you could get behind. Every player on this team has a story. Every fan in that building last night has a story. And I know that, the 66-year season ticket holder Benjamin Kapp gets a lot of the love, as well he should.
Yes.
89 years old, and those images never get old. But every one of the 65,000 plus in that building had a story to tell about being a Lions fan, about their own lives, about why they love this football team. And I just think not only the fact that the Detroit Lions are winning is one thing, but the way they're winning and who they're winning with makes it all the more important. And to wear that Lions emblem, to wear Detroit across your chest, essentially, man, that is so special. And this is just an incredible time in the city of Detroit to be a Lions fan.
Look, it sucks to say it this way, but it is what it is. Like, when you think of Detroit, when people live here, we come here, like, people, they poop on Detroit all the time. If you're outside Detroit, big cities, they crap on Detroit. They crack jokes. You're the butt of jokes if it's Detroit. And I think in that sense, it makes you say F other cities. Hence why the whole phrase Detroit versus everybody got started. Detroit versus everybody. Look, everybody wants to crack jokes about the bankruptcy and blah, 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 or the mayor, the hip-hop mayor of this, or insert 0-16, insert whatever you want to. There's always a joke. And I think not necessarily in a joking sense, but if you look at every player on this team, with the exception of Aiden Hutchinson, it's an either-or scenario. It's a because we didn't get this guy scenario. You look at Jared Goff. How many jokes about Jared Goff walking around Birmingham when he first got here with his security? Look at C.D. Deuce. Well, they pushed him out of Philadelphia because he didn't really fit. Well, no, he was the only guy that really did fit. Those guys, look at that secondary. You look at Jahmyr Gibbs. We shouldn't drafted him. We should have did this. Insert player on this team that has made it. Amon-Ra St. Brown, we'll see what he does. Like you said, everybody on this team has a story to tell, and I feel like it's just like the city of Detroit. It's Detroit versus everybody, and it's this Detroit Lions football team versus everybody else. The city and the team line up perfect. It lines up perfect. It is Detroit versus everybody.
When I first moved here in '93, I told my then fiance, if I'm going to move from where I'm at in Jersey in New York City, which was 5 minutes from my door, I want to live in Detroit. I'm like, find me a flat or find me an apartment in Detroit. So she did. I didn't even know where I was going to live. So I drive to Michigan in my Ford Escort, loaded up.
Okay.
The whole 9 yards.
Silver?
Silver.
I knew it.
Silver. Ford Escort. It was the ST model.
You fit into Detroit before you even got here.
It was the
That's
ST
a Detroit
model.
car.
I drive in and I go to my girl's house, and then I'm like, okay, where do I live? So she's like, okay, follow me. Follow her down Woodhall off of Mack Avenue by Cadieux. And I lived there for 10 freaking years. I loved it. And then I moved 10 minutes up Mack Avenue to St. Clair Shores. So when people say they don't like Detroit, they really don't know Detroit. They don't. You know, I'm 10 minutes off of Alta Road and off of Jefferson. Ryan, you're like 2 minutes off of Alta Road. I love the city. Do I want it to be better? Do I want to see Gratiot get better? I do. And I believe this Lions team
will help it.
Will help it. And what they're going to do, guys, they're going to leave Allen Park soon. I can't wait to see where the new Lions headquarters is going to be. I got a couple spots I know where it would be great, but that's really going to invigorate this city again. COVID might have slowed it down, but it's back now, and it's going to be better than ever very soon.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that, Maz? You hit the nail on the head. You said they don't like Detroit because they don't know Detroit. Like, they didn't like Detroit because they don't know Detroit. Nobody wanted to get to know Detroit from outside. And I get it. Yeah, there's some cities I don't want to get to know. It just is what it is. But nobody cared about Detroit because you don't know the story. But now that America is learning the story over 3 years, like, nobody liked this Detroit Lions team until they got to know them. To the last 10 games of last season, they're like, oh, this Lions team might be something. And then you look at this whole season, no, this Lions team is something. Nobody liked Detroit till they got to know Detroit. And they're going to get to know the real Detroit because this ain't over. And I use ain't for a fact.
You know, one of the things, too, about this football team that I think was perfect was Hard Knocks.
Oh, yeah.
And
you got it.
Hard Knocks really helped tell the story of Dan Campbell. It helped tell the story of these coaches. It helped tell the story of who this organization wanted to be. And I'm not sure without Hard Knocks if we would have fallen in love as much as we fell in love with these guys immediately. Because there's a lot of growing pains with that team. I mean, they were 1-7, right? 1-6. When did they start the year? 1-6 last year? 1-7,
Yeah.
1-6, 1-6 last year though.
Yeah.
After the 3-13-1,
Yeah, and they
Hard
finished
Knocks.
8-2.
That docu-series on HBO really helped kind of set the tone for the Lion fans as well. And you talk about culture, how you talk about it, I think is probably based on some sort of clip that you saw. Aiden Hutchinson and the Billie Jean dance routine, or Jason Kabinda sitting in the front row and, you know, grabbing the I'll never forget it, grabbing the T-shirt out of midair. Somebody threw the T-shirt at Hutchinson during the performance. I mean, that show was so beneficial to this franchise, this head coach. Now they've taken it, and you know, if they're losing, it doesn't matter. Obviously, let's get that out there.
Yeah.
If they're not here, none of that stuff matters, and that's just a bunch of talking points. But because they are winning, it does feel like that is, on social media, it's how it started, how it ended. That's kind of how it started, and this is how it's going now, And I don't know. I just shout out to those folks at Hard Knocks that gave us those images and some of those stories as well, because a lot of the things that you are seeing now, a lot of the things as you scroll through social media last night was videos that you saw from Hard Knocks. One of the things that I kept seeing was the Dan Campbell video that says, all I think about is you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put you guys in the best possible position to win football games. So,
I love him.
great stuff.
I love him. I wouldn't want anybody but him. And I lived through the best. Bill Parcells, Tom Landry, Bill Belichick, Cowher. Before him, just the great coaches that I grew up watching. Chuck Noll. How could I forget Chuck Noll?
You mentioned
This guy's unbelievable.
Braylon. I thought about Maz this weekend. So Bill Belichick is telling a story about Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
And Dan Campbell has a lot of Bill Parcells in him.
He does.
So Bill Belichick is he's a disciple of Bill Parcells. Bill Belichick is telling a story about Lawrence Taylor showing up late to a meeting.
Yeah.
So
I know the story.
So he goes up to Bill Parcells and he says, "Hey, Coach, just want you to know that Taylor showed up 5-6 minutes late." And Bill Parcells looks at him and says, "Well, why the hell did you start the meeting without him?"
That's real.
It's great.
3 Super Bowls, arguably the greatest player of all time.
Is that the greatest thing you ever heard?
Yeah.
I could just see Dan Campbell. First of all, I don't think anybody shows up late to a Dan Campbell meeting.
They might.
And if you
this
do,
ain't the 80s.
If you do, though,
There ain't no Lawrence Taylor on this team.
No,
that's the problem.
There's not. But I could see Dan Campbell looking at AG and saying, "Well, why'd you start without him then?
Exactly.
Why'd you start
I love
without him?"
Aiden and Jared Goff.
Oh my God.
Dan Campbell was definitely coming to his own as a coach, man, as a motivator, as an inspirator. In terms of play calling. There was a time in the game I looked at that first field goal that he kicked and he didn't go for it on the 3-yard line. I said, "Is this Dan Campbell?" I even tweeted it. I tweeted with these Lions fans, but I tweeted. I said, "Is that something that's going to come back to haunt him?" I said, because now he's starting to second guess himself. Normally, Dan Campbell, 3-yard line, playing against the Bucs, would win for it. He kicks the field goal. They end up winning by, by 8. But I say that to say this: he's trusting himself. Just like Brad Holmes trusts himself in the draft, trusts himself with free agency and moves to make and not to make. And I think that's the big thing with Dan Campbell, this Detroit Lions team. There's a lot of trust. There's trust in the players. There's trust in the coaches. There's trust in the front office. When you have that much trust, this is the success that you see. Like, this success is predicated on trust. And they have a lot of it down there at Allen Park and Ford Field.
Hey, we've been all pouring our hearts out and our love, and the chat's been awesome.
Yeah.
But there's a little side note here. Brock Wright got hurt yesterday after making a phenomenal play on a 3rd and 4.
Who knows if they win that game without Brock Wright yesterday?
But he gets hurt.
Yeah.
He leaves his arm in a sling.
Broke his forearm.
Guess what? They signed Zach Ertz today. I know you guys all know that, but we forget. Yeah, this team's building for the next game. They did not let James Houston play yesterday. But guess what? They activated him because he's going to play against the Niners. They're thinking a day ahead, a game ahead. Guess what? Zach Ertz, he's playing in the Super Bowl. That's what they're thinking. Zach Ertz and Sam Laporta. Thinking ahead, always doing the thing that they did. We all say they don't sign free agents. They did today. That's a pretty good free agent to have.
That's more than a pretty good phrase to have. We can talk about it more right away.
Guys, okay, here's the deal. So we were a little bit late to the show today because we had some technical difficulties, thanks to the watch party.
We got to have supervision at this watch party.
We need some supervision at the watch party.
I did my best.
Yeah. Now, because of that, because you guys sticking with us, we just went 45 minutes, 50 minutes with no commercials.
Yep.
But we do have to pay some bills.
We do.
So give me 2 minutes. Let me pay some bills right now. We'll come right back. Expected to be joined by Jennifer Hammond next. You'll hear from Dan Campbell. We'll go around the league. We'll talk about this week ahead. Lots more to get to.
Yeah.
Here
You know who
on
else is
Woodward
excited?
Sports Network.
Baldy's excited.
Oh, yeah, Baldy as well.
Hey.
Pete, tell me what I'm doing.
Well, let's do Mark White and Planet Fitness back-to-back.
Look at that. Here it is, a message from Mark White.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, whose trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Over to Kool-Aid for Planet Fitness.
Yes. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Find your local Planet Fitness today and join or visit them online at planetfitness.com.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White and Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today, or visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods, grab-and-go steaks, or you can visit them online, fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com. Let me also tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for your chance to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. You could walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Now to Tom Mazaway.
Hey, fellas, give your pet the best. Do not cheat them, all right? It's PremierPetSupply.com. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, nutritionists to talk you through any questions you have, curbside delivery if you need it. Give your pet the best. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
It's awesome. It really is cool for me, and I said it last week. I said something I'll probably never experience again, and I kind of experienced it again today. So those fans are special, near and dear to my heart, and mean a ton to me. The support, and not just for me though, but for our whole team, and experiencing that is cool.
Look, man, shouts out to Jared Goff, Detroit Lions for figuring out sticking with each other, and you see they're reaping the benefits now. Jared Goff, 2 playoff games, 277, 2 touchdowns last week, 287, 2 touchdowns this week. It's just more prevalent, man. Like when you got people that believe in you, got people that back you, when you feel confident, when you feel comfortable, you just play to the best of your abilities. I remember being in Cleveland and having, I had one really good season, but I just never felt comfortable. I never felt like they really truly had my back. I never felt really, really, truly like I was a Cleveland Brown. And I get to the New York Jets, and in the span of one work week, man, Rex Ryan, he brought me in, the team brought me in, the offensive coordinator, the players, the training staff, everybody brought me in, and slowly but surely I was able to get back to my confident self that I knew from the University of Michigan. That's what you're seeing with Jared Goff. Hey, Jared Goff was a #1 draft pick overall for a reason. Let's start there. He's a #1 overall draft pick. For the most part, when you drafted #1 overall, everybody can't be wrong. And then he takes the Rams to the Super Bowl, and then it falls apart a little bit at the wheels. He comes here, he's trying to figure out who he is. They double down on him, they triple down on him, they stayed the course. They didn't pay attention to what the people were saying, even in the city after the first year here, 3-13-1, or the first 6 games of last year. They stayed with Jared Goff, and eventually he was able to get his rhythm, get his confidence the last 10 games of last season, and this year he's been able to build on it each week by week by week, game by game, and that's the guy you're seeing in front of you at the podium. You want to talk about having your quarterback. He's just won you 2 playoff games, and I don't care who they played against. He outdueled Matt Stafford in the sense that they won the game. He outdueled Baker Mayfield in the sense he didn't turn the ball over, and they won the game. How many quarterbacks are we trying every year on these shows that aren't this one? They're trying to give you why this quarterback is the guy. Why this quarterback deserves $51 million. Why this quarterback can get it done. And they're struggling. They're getting knocked out of the playoffs. They're getting knocked out of the first round of playoffs. They're getting embarrassed at home. Jared Goff just won you 2 playoff games and did it in immaculate fashion with Ben Johnson. So I don't know what your eyes are telling you, but my eyes are telling me he's the guy.
So great being in the building and hearing from almost the minute you got to your seat, Jared Goff.
Yep.
Jared Goff. Jared Goff. This city has fallen in love with Jared Goff, and rightfully so. He has embraced us. We have in turn embraced him. Now, winning is the great catalyst for all of it.
Yeah.
Right? But Jared Goff will be,
you got to win,
a Detroit Lion for the rest of his life, based on what he's done in the last 8 days alone.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, think about you, Bray. You played a season and a half in New York.
Yeah.
But the team success that you had, it makes you a Jet.
This is true.
You are a New York Jet. And I think that the success that Jared Goff has had here makes him forever a Detroit Lion. Again, the great part about this, his story is not done yet. His story is still being written. The Detroit Lions 2023 season is still being written. And by the way, can I ask the dumbest question in the world?
Okay.
This is the dumbest question in the world. It is a total side note.
Yeah.
And it means nothing to what we're talking about. but I just don't understand it. Why is the University of Michigan the 2023 national champions, but let's just say the Lions, heaven forbid, win the Super Bowl? The Detroit Lions would be the 2024 Super Bowl champions.
It's the 2023/2024.
No, but
it's Super Bowl 58.
That's not what the season. That's not what the shirts say.
Yeah.
That's not what. When you look at the.
Yeah.
When you look at the list of Super Bowl champions, when you see 2024 Super Bowl champions, it'll have Lions, Ravens. It won't say 23-24.
Right.
It'll say 2024.
But Super Bowl 58.
Okay.
Isn't that also too because that Super Bowls used to be like Super Bowls used to happen the same year because there weren't as many games. So,
No, they were always in January.
There were a couple Super Bowls in December.
Yeah.
I might have to look it up, but I think so. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right.
Hey, while we're here, let's do the Premier Pet Supply Player of the Game, Tom Mazaway.
I think you got to know who it is. It's the man who got his first interception in his 3-year career, none other than Derek Barnes. Ryan, how important is Derek Barnes to that linebacker core now?
He's just one of those guys that, again, fits this city, fits this team. He's a guy that wasn't even sure if he was going to make the team at the start of the year, and towards the end of the year just made one of the biggest plays in the history of the franchise over the last 50 years. That's what he just did. And it's guys that just keep working, just keep working, just keep working. Get better, get better, get better. And lo and behold, you're in a position to make a play like that. And that pop in the stadium when he caught that ball was unlike anything you'd ever hear.
Did you bring me a towel home? All grit?
I didn't.
You didn't give me an all grit?
They're all nasty.
You didn't give me an all grit?
No, I didn't. You don't need that towel.
You're right.
It's fine.
Man, you got to appreciate people that can stay the course, man, and stay the course. He did. You know, he had a couple good games in 2021, but he had a couple of those games where you realize why he was going up, back and forth, in the lineup, out of the lineup, but he stayed the course. He got better. Calvin Shepard helped this man get better, and Derek Barnes, like you said, he made one of those plays. I remember when the Colts finally beat the Patriots, when they get Marlon Jackson, one of my former teammates, University of Michigan All-American, got that interception, and to this day, Peyton Manning still calls Marlon all the time. Hey, Marlon, how you doing? Like moments like that helped Peyton Manning get over the hump. He beat Brady, he got the Super Bowl, and they won that Super Bowl. But you get remembered forever for plays like this, and Derek Barnes is a very humble guy, Purdue Big Ten guy. A lot of Big Ten guys on this roster, but shouts out to him, man. And heard what he said. This is how this team is. He got put on the spotlight to get some credit, and what did he do? He threw the credit right back on that linebacker room and right back on Coach Shepard. That's the type of team that Dan Campbell has created here in Detroit.
Here's what Dan Campbell had to say about the Premier Pet Supply Player of the Game, Derek Barnes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of Derek. Derek, he's one of our guys that, we drafted in the first year here, and he was a later bloomer guy. It took him a little bit, and then he really came on this season, and he's playing at a high level. And just to see him, one of the biggest areas he's grown at, not only just being able to, his level of play on defense, but his psyche. Something bad happens, something doesn't quite go the way you want it to, man, he's able to bounce back in a big way, and it doesn't affect him negatively, man. He keeps going. That's where I feel the most growth, and it's why he's playing at a high level. That was what a huge play.
What a huge play by Derek Barnes, but what a huge job by Dan Campbell sticking with Derek Barnes. Look, when you like guys, when you pause, when you look at film, when you look at scouting tape, when you look at a guy, you interview a guy, you say, hey, how can this guy fit my team, the Detroit Lions, coming out of Purdue? How can this guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, fit my team coming out of USC? They have drafted guys, and they have stayed with them. They've given them a chance to blossom. They've given them a chance to get to where they can be. It doesn't happen overnight all the time. And I think a lot of times us as fans, and even now that I'm a former player and I'm on the fan side of things, I think we want things to happen right away. You want to have it right away. This guy's got to be it right away. Jameson Williams, I need to see it right now. Derek Barnes, insert player here that you draft.
Jack Campbell.
Well, I still want to see it. But at the end of the day, you want to see it right away. That's why it's up to a guy like Dan Campbell, a head coach, a leader of men, to say, we're going to stay with this guy, and we'll figure it out, and eventually he will. Here you are 3 years later, Maz, and Derek Barnes makes one of the greatest plays, like you said, in Lions history. Sometimes you got to stay with a player and just keep giving them positive reinforcement.
Congrats to Derek Barnes, our Premier Pet Supply player of the game. Do not settle for less. Give Premier Pet Supply a call. PremierPetSupply.com.
You know, one of the things about Derek Barnes, too, and one of the things about Dan Campbell, Braylon, and as a former player, I'm sure you can appreciate this, is guys like Derek Barnes are able to be ready because Dan Campbell and every coach on that roster and every person in that player personnel department is honest with each other.
Yeah.
Hey, this is where we see you. This is what you could do for us. This is where you could play. This is what we like about you. This is what we need you to work on. These guys, this coaching staff treats these players like men. And I think that goes a long way in these guys being ready every step of the way as well. Whether you're Craig Reynolds, whether you're Derek Barnes, whether you're Brock Wright, or whether you're Zach Ertz that's coming in and probably trying to get ready for the Super Bowl in 3 weeks.
Transparency is all the players ask for. Like you ask when a guy says, what's the difference between a player coach? What is a player coach? Player's coach is one that can be transparent. A player's coach is one that can tell you one thing, and it is that one thing when it's behind your back, when it's the next guy he talks to about you, or it's the GM about you. It's the same thing or something close. Played with a lot of coaches in my day, and a lot of them just can't tell the truth. They can't. They call themselves trying to spare you, or they can't give you all the information as it came down from the GM or as it came from somewhere else. They don't have that problem in Detroit, and when you don't have that problem, you got guys that lobby for you. Like you said, you tell Derek Barnes, "Hey, you're just not it right now. We want to keep you on the team. We want you to still get better at some things, but right now we see you as linebacker 3 or linebacker 4. All right, you're honest with me. You didn't string me along. Like, legitimately, I had Pete Carroll tell me in one sense when I got to the Seattle Seahawks in training camp in 2012. He said, yeah, you're going to come here. You're going to challenge for starts. Probably going to be you and Sidney Rice. Well, when I got there after about a week, like I'm like taking 4th reps and 5th reps and 6th reps. Before the season starts, I start the opening game against the Arizona Cardinals. I'm like, but you got to stay the course. And the other side that you give Derek Barnes. Attitude. You're like, at the end of the day, I know who I am.
Yeah.
And this is why I was coming to Derek Barnes. At the end of the day, he believed in himself. He knew who he was at Purdue. He knew why he was drafted here, or he knew why he was picked up here to the Detroit Lions. He stayed the course. That play he made wasn't an easy play. Like, everybody's just acting like it's some linebacker.
Oh, my God. That was incredibly
Everybody's
difficult.
acting like some ball he right in the breadbasket. Like, 1, he read the play. 2, made a hell of a catch. We saw Mike Evans drop 3 passes in that game that were way easier than that.
Yeah.
And he dropped them. Still had 147, but he dropped 3 easy passes. Derek Barnes made a hell of a play. He saw the play, and you can tell how he made that play. He's been watching film.
Yeah.
He knew that play was coming. That was a hell of a job by him. He trusted in himself.
Did we wind up playing Derek Barnes speaking about his interception? Did we do that yet? We haven't done that yet because I was on the phone trying to get a Hammer on.
No, we're talking about Dan Campbell talking about.
Well, we got Derek Barnes himself talking about that exact play.
Yeah, so Coach called a great play executing all week. He was packed them seams, man. This is crazy. First in the NFL interception, man. It was wild. All you got to do is be coachable, man, and do what AG and Shepard them tell you to do, and this is the result. Nah, but one pride, man. Detroit, y'all deserve this. This is amazing. God is good.
It's so great. There's no doubt about it. And so happy for guys like Derek Barnes. And he is our premier Pet Supply player of the game. Another guy that could have been in contention for that is one of the
JG.
Well, him too, but one of the toughest SOBs in the league.
Oh.
And that's Frank Ragnow.
Absolutely. He's crawling
You
on the
want to
ground.
talk about a guy that embodies toughness. It embodies everything it means to be a Detroit Lion. Here's what Frank Ragnow had to say about continuing on despite the injury.
Yeah, it's incredible. You just reflect on, me specifically, my career and all the tough days and the frustrating seasons where I'm home by now already for 2 weeks, and to be here today when we're in victory formation and looking at the crowd is just, it's hard to describe. To me, the pain, I'm not trying to sound like some brute tough guy here, but I was just more frustrated than anything, the fact that it's just, again, but it was tough, but it was worth it.
What allows you to play through that pain? Other people can't, maybe?
My parents, I don't know. My dad was one of the toughest people I've ever met. My mom's one of the toughest people I've ever met. And I just take a lot of pride in being out there with the guys, being out there for the city. They signed me to this extension a few years ago, and I want to be fulfilling that, I don't want to be that guy who gets paid not doing that stuff. I want to be out there and finding a way to win.
Frank's a stud. That's what he does, and he's willing to lay it on the line, and he's not going to miss it. He's going to we talk about all the time, but it's like, man, you may not be 100%, but if you feel like you can produce, you can win at 80% of yourself, and that's what Frank does. He believes he can, and he trusts himself, and he trusts those guys next to him, and it's just, there's nothing easy about that. Not everybody can do it, and that's okay, but he can.
You got to be a gladiator to play in the NFL. Like, simply put, I don't care what position you play, you got to be a gladiator because you got to know what comes with this guy. It's physicality. It's the potential for something to be a thing. And Frank Ragnow, man, he operates at the highest level of that gladiatorship. Like, to just watch him crawling around towards the end of the third, the fourth, just like clawing and gritting it through. Like, that guy's messed up and has been messed up all season. But there's such a different team when Frank Ragnow was in there. We've talked about this. How many times have we called him potentially the MVP of the season for when he's in there?
Yep.
When he's in there, they're a much different team. Much different team. They push the defense around. And even if the defense doesn't necessarily push them around a little bit, they still find ways to get the plays, to get the blocks, to get the handouts on the plays, the drives, the possessions that they need. Frank Ragnow is the catalyst of that. And to watch him play at that level, man, for this Lions team, it's great. He's got me watching the offensive line. Like, I've never watched the offensive line, but I watched the offensive line of Detroit Lions because him, Jonah Jackson, who got injured in the game, something about the Bucs and Jonah Jackson, but Penei Sewell, like, just Ben Johnson too. Like, he's a wizard. But watching that offensive line, man, Penei Sewell, the age-old question. Surely, but it's funny because now that question is starting to have a different answer when you talk about Micah Parsons and Penei Sewell.
It does. It is. And you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Before I go that route, I just want to say Ragnow should have the entire week off.
He will.
Just take the week off.
Rest.
And play on Sunday.
Injury designation.
That's it.
Rest.
Play on Sunday. Well, he's got everything. He's got it all.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got it all.
Injury designation. Yeah. Rest. Everything.
Like Damian Woody, like when we were playing in
Sit
the
out.
playoffs, like, 'cause by that time Damian Woody was in year like 11, 12, 13, whatever. Damian didn't even practice. He only did the meetings on Monday, Wednesday. Wednesday he was shorts and shirt watching. Thursday shorts and shirts watching. Friday shorts and shirts watching. And then on Sunday, he get out there and handle his business because he knows how to operate at that level. That's what I would do for Frank Ragnow. He's earned it, deserved it, and that's what they need to do.
I'll tell you, that Lions training staff, they're like the best.
Henry Ford, baby.
They're like the best pit stop crew in the business. The way they're getting these guys.
Offensive line, it's Frank Ragnow making those calls and who's blocking who and
slide shift,
right,
Mike
all that
linebacker.
stuff. I mean, it's so important to have him out there, and I'll tell you, we are so fortunate to have him. Now, you can't pay everybody, but that's one of those guys that you're glad you paid.
You got to have it, man. You talk about just look at the Philadelphia Eagles. I know they've fallen apart, but who is the guy you almost talk about as much as Jalen Hurts? He just retired. It's Jason Kelce. Look at what Jason Kelce meant to that Philadelphia Eagles offense, that offensive line, the tush push, what he did for Jalen Hurts, every play being in that. That's the same thing Frank Ragnow allows to Jared Goff. Hell, they even had a QB sneak,
right?
And which Jared Goff got about 4 yards on that play. So Frank Ragnow is very, very key to this Lions offense success.
Guys, we're going to take a break. More Lions when we come back. Also, we'll take a look around the league. There was another game yesterday. The Final Four is set. Kansas City does beat Buffalo. All that and more coming up next. But first, a message from Swiss.
It's been a tremendous college football season. It was absolutely amazing. Go Blue. And the NFL season is winding down. Go Lions in the Final Four. But now it's time for you to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com or call 248-800-4177.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort Dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Also, give Les Stanford a call or look them up online at lesstanford.com. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford has done because they've been running a great business for over 50 years. So what do? How about Les Stanford Buick GMC? That's what you do. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. If you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been for over 55 years on Michigan Avenue. So you can find the brand you want. All GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Like I said last week, we're not done yet. Let's go, Lion fans.
Appreciate everybody for coming out. We headed to the
You gotta love the CD Deuce. Got that pick. I don't care that Mike Evans dropped the ball and it tipped up. Who caught it?
Tip ball, you gotta get it.
Oski. That's what they teach in football.
Who did he hit it back to?
It's a tip. You remember Tip Oski? So I love it. Like, you got the talking back and forth. Look, Baker Mayfield still played a hell of a game. He missed some throws. He threw some interceptions. But CD Deuce told him, he said, if y'all had a quarterback, y'all be a much better team. I think Baker came and did his thing, but CD Deuce got the pick. And once again, you just see the energy on that defense side of football when you have number 2 in there. Like, Maz, you could not have been more right in terms of the free agent that you wanted in the offseason. You said it before the Super Bowl. You said it after the Super Bowl. And eventually, Brad Holmes heard you from down the street, and CD Deuce is your starting safety, and you see the energy that he brings.
Please re-sign him.
Right, like now. Like him, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, they should be in the executive meeting right now with Jared
And Goff.
That, you see, I threw him in there.
Yep.
Can I just say the human element side of this, though, I do feel bad for Tracy Walker a little bit. You know, Tracy Walker's a great guy. Great guy.
Good player.
Really good player. Healthy scratch yesterday. You know what I mean? Didn't play, and you can't blame him. And you look, CD Deuce is the kids say. What do the kids say? Is him? Is that what they say?
He's him.
And you need them dogs like that. He's a dog, and you need them dogs on the field like that. But the human part of me Felt bad for Tracy Walker.
He'll be activated next game.
I love Tracy Walker.
Listen, at the end of the day, it is a team sport. I don't feel bad for him because he signed up for it and he did it with
No, I
great.
get it.
It's just I'm being honest.
I know, you're right.
It's like watching Remember the Titans. What did Ryan Gosling do? He went down there and he told Pete, he said, "Look, I'm out there getting cooked." He said, "You can go ahead and have my spot because I'm a team player." Petey went out there and they won all the games, and Denzel got to keep his job. But Coach Boone, at least. But it's a team game, man. And when you're a part of a team, but it goes back to Dan Campbell, Ryan. Dan Campbell has instilled, it's a team thing. We're in this together. And when you have that type of culture, when you have that type of already knowing what it is, when they come to you and say, "Hey, look," he said, "You know what? Hey, look, I want to play. I want to help my team out. But if helping my team out is not dressing this week, it sucks. But I understand that's what I got to do for the team." Because Brian Branch, Melifonwu, and C.D. Deuce, they are a hell of a secondary.
Unbelievable.
They're a heck of a safeties at you have. Even Cam Sutton made some plays in there too. So, hey.
Baldy broke down one of the plays the Lions put out there defensively with 4 safeties. And he's like, this is new in
It's
the
a
NFL.
big package.
And look how good. The safety is now the new – aren't they like the new quarterback of the defense almost? The safeties?
Well, they've been that way for a while. I mean, Ed Reed kind of started that. I think Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, they kind of started that, but it's getting to this point now. They've taken it out of the linebacker's ear, if you will.
And Ryan had a good thing on the break, and I thought the same thing. Where does CD Deuce and these players get their phones from? I mean, they're playing a game,
right?
And yet CD Deuce is doing his Instagram still.
But the game's over. Like, at the end of the day, you want your phone on the field. So what guys do, I didn't do this when I played. Like, iPhones is kind of, we had iPhones, but we were scared to bring them on the field. But like now, you do it in the warm-ups. You give it to one of the ball boys, or you give it to one of the assistant coaches that are assisting your position coach, and they just hold on to it. You show it in warm-ups, and then at the end of the game, you just go right to them saying, "Let me get that camera."
Remember Joe Horn?
Oh, 100%.
Sunday night football. He had the flip phone underneath the goalpost padding in that Sunday night game. That was hilarious.
You know what I've always wondered about that, man? Did he have a phone under each post?
Oh, yeah.
Because the chances of you scoring in that post and forgetting, like, damn, it's like the other post.
Good point.
He had to have one in both.
Good point.
Matt, you were talking about something Baldy brought up.
Yep.
Should we go to Brian Baldinger and the amazing clips of the great Baldy?
Absolutely. I'll call one out for you right now. You want to start on the defense? Let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Baldy, on one of his favorite shows, Baldy talks about Branch and Hutch.
Let's give Aaron Glenn some credit here. This is 3rd and 4, third quarter right here. Look at Tampa. They're all talking up here. Block the most dangerous. That's the most dangerous man out there. But if they can get them just to hesitate for 1 second to squeeze this with Anzalone and Campbell up in the line of scrimmage and Barnes, just 1 second, just all you got to do is just make them hesitate. Bam. Now they back out. Now the hesitation, it's too late. Hutch is already by, and down goes Baker. And then you get Hutch. You get Hutch on one side, and you get Branch right here. Like, there's a stack formation right there. But this feel that Brian Branch has is exactly why he was a star at Alabama. Like, his feel just to go attack. Rachaad White barely gets a handoff, and Branch is down there. Branch and Hutch, that episode is now going to be in San Francisco. It's going to be a great episode.
On the show. Shut up.
Is that great, Brian Baldinger? I mean, just the way he breaks down what you're seeing. And now, Maz, I know you've got a couple of Ben Johnson plays and just some of the subtle things that he does. And they are always, as an organization, looking 2 or 3 steps ahead as a play caller. Ben Johnson looking 2 or 3 plays ahead as well. Here's that from Baldinger.
Let's take a look at the first touchdown by the Lions. They're in a 3-by-2 set. All right? You got J-Mo up there. You got Reynolds and Amon-Ra St. Brown. All right? You get 2 down here. Bucks are sitting in a quarter coverage. They got 10 toes on the goal line. It's 3rd and 5. They're going to run a high-low concept right here with St. Brown and Josh Reynolds. And right here, Antoine Winfield is going to plaster St. Brown. High-low. They kind of blow it over the top. And there's Josh Reynolds for the opening touchdown on 3rd and 5. And Ford Field erupts like it has never erupted before. You can just feel the energy right through the film here. And now you watch this here. It's up to these guys to really hold up. No blitz, 4-man rush. All right? It's going to be just a slide right protection right here. So, jet protection here to the right. So, perfectly done right here. All right? 3-on-2. But this is the tough block. Right here, Jonah Jackson's got the tough block, away from the slide. He's got to hold up. That's why, right here, Jared Goff just slides a little bit to his right. And then the throw was such anticipation. What a great feeling. What a great feeling when you just execute perfectly like that 4 times.
It's just fantastic. Now, a play like that, too, it's worth noting that who had the difficult block on that touchdown?
Jonah
Jackson. Who's out?
Yeah.
Jonah Jackson will be out this week in the NFC Championship game. He did have surgery for a meniscus. And
he's been hurt a few times.
Let me get
this
exactly
year,
what that is, actually. Like, just so I have. So underwent surgery for a slight meniscus tear. Former Pro Bowler expected to miss the NFC Championship game, but can be back for the Super Bowl if the Lions advance. But that is a very big loss for the Detroit Lions this week.
Owasku played awesome in his stead. He really did. They didn't make any changes after that.
Mm-hmm.
They put him in there, and he held up. Hell, Goff got sacked twice the whole game.
Yeah,
that's pretty damn good.
It's one of those things, too, where you got to be very excited when you have certain players that can come in and fill the job. Like Jonah Jackson, he goes out and you see how he does. Because look what happened on the opposite side. Look what happened and Dean goes out. Dean goes out and he had a cornerback go out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That last play in which Amon-Ra St. Brown gets the first down, he makes the catch. Like, that's on the guy that had to play a backup role. Like, we don't know if he would have made that play if it would have been Dean, who was having a hell of a game and a hell of a season. So that's why you got to have guys that you believe in. So when guys get hurt, look, man, like the show goes on. It sucks. It's a part of football, though. The show does go on, and when you got the right guys, like it seems like Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell do, you can pick up right where you left off.
Is Vaitai still on this team?
Yes, he's on the team. But he's injured. He's just
he's been injured since
not.
This was a guy that
not very good.
This is a guy that they were thinking it depended on.
Injuries have essentially cost him his.
Got it.
Yes.
And then you got Colby Sorsdahl, the rookie, out of William and Mary, and he kind of got beat up a little bit in part-time play this season. So we really have not heard much about him. So it looks like you got who you got, right? Maybe there's another old lineman out there. I don't know. But like I said, Owasku did his job yesterday. But going forward, now you're playing against that Niners defensive line. It gets tougher now.
Yeah.
Really tough.
No doubt. All right, guys, I do want to talk about Chiefs-Bills a little bit and just quickly look ahead.
And Packers.
I told you.
If we could. But first, a message from Tom Mazaway and Big Boy.
Big Boy. You know it. Wintertime is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. There it is, folks. Try the veal parmesan, the Southern Comfort chicken bowl as well. How about the morning? You want to start your breakfast off with the stuffed potato pancakes, the lumberjack and Santa Fe omelets are great. Do not pass up those hot apple pie hot cakes. They are too good to miss. And, of course, you want to have a shake, too. Did you get a shake yesterday at the Ford Field, right?
I did not.
Oh, it's worth going to Big Boy.
Yeah, it is.
They even got the gingerbread shake. Check them out at your local Big Boy.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
this is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Jack Labrador. You know it by now. You got to get it right now. Get that QR code and get yourself a deck, a champion's deck they call this, of Jack Labrador. You want to go to jacklabrador.gg. Hey, RIP to the SOL, right? Same old Lions is gone. Same thing for rock, paper, scissors. This gives you a brand new way to play rock, paper, scissors. It's fun. It is exciting. You want to go to jacklabrador.gg for more of the details. 2 new symbols and a 3-point play, franchise-changing 3-point play to that tired old game. Get your game right now, jacklabrador.gg.
All right, guys, you want to start Packers 49ers first?
Hell yeah.
Man,
what a great game.
I was rooting so hard for the Green Bay Packers, man. But then be careful what you wish for, right? Green Bay loses at San Francisco 24-21. The Packers, Jordan Love, they absolutely, in my opinion, outplayed the 49ers. But you cannot make mistakes on the road in the NFL playoffs. A missed surefire pick six, Braylon, a 4th and inches. They go for it instead of kicking the field goal. But they don't get it. They hurry up. They don't get it. It was a bad spot nonetheless. Terrible play call, terrible spot.
Yep.
But it was a missed opportunity.
And then the 49ers went down and scored, and they took control of the game really in the 4th quarter. But Jordan Love.
Absolutely. And then
hats
the
off
missed
to
field goal,
Jordan
obviously.
Love. Hats off to Jordan Love.
Yeah.
But they got kicking issues like a lot of teams do.
Yeah, including the Buffalo Bills and Bass, wide right. Look, the coaches that made poor decisions, that made controversial decisions, they lost the game. You saw Sean McDermott made a couple bad decisions. That punt that he called, that was horrible. Same thing going for Matt LaFleur. Look, you get in these moments sometimes. You try to make these plays. You try to figure out what's the move. And sometimes it doesn't work. And when you have guys that have been there, have guys like Kyle Shanahan, you have players on that 49ers team, a little more calm, a little more reserved. You talked about how young that Packers team was. Well, I think it played a hand in it at the end. I will say one thing about Brock Purdy, because everybody's talking about, oh, he looks invincible. He does. Like you take Debo out of it, I mean, just like Jared Goff, when everything's there, he's unbeatable almost.
Correct.
Same thing with Brock Purdy. If he has Debo Samuel, along with Christian McCaffrey, along with George Kittle, and you can go down the rest of the line of the offense, they're a different team. But no Debo, he's forced to now make some plays, and he struggled a little bit in their 3rd quarter. He really struggled. But the one thing that you should pay attention to if you're the Lions defense, when Brock Purdy had to make it at the end, he had a hell of a drive at the end, and he goes on there and scores. So I wouldn't look so much at where he faltered at in the game plan in the middle of that. I would look at how he was in the end of the game. He played like a guy that has been to the NFC not once, but 2 years in a row. But like you said, damn good fall game by the Green Bay Packers. Look, this division, Maz, you called it. The NFC North is going to be the toughest division in the NFL, I think, next year. And it starts with the Detroit Lions and the Packers. But the 49ers, baby, I think that's the one we all really, truly wanted.
No doubt.
49ers are not a hot team. There are hot teams in the league. Baltimore is a hot team. The Kansas City Chiefs are starting to roll. The Lions are a hot team. The Buccaneers were a hot team. The Rams were a hot team. 49ers have been up and down, down. They're not invincible. They're not last year's 49ers, although they get Chase Young on that line now to make them even better. They're very beatable. The Packers had that game. They dominated that game. They lost it. Rookie quarterback, first time he's playing in a playoff game. Take my hat off to the kid. They're going to sign him to a long-term deal, by the way.
As they should.
They're going to give him a lot of money. Jordan Love is going to break the bank. Jordan Love pulled a Brett Favre at the end. A young Brett Favre move, even an old Brett Favre move.
He did that with,
He shouldn't have thrown that ball, but he did. But they let that game slip through their hands. The Lions can finish off the 49ers. Hey, 11 straight losses on the road for this team, right? When was their last win, right? It was against the 49ers back in 1957.
Playoffs.
In the playoffs.
1961.
Yep, back in the 60s or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, it was, I heard that.
Isn't that
earlier.
something?
1966 is the
That's
Lions.
something.
66
And we all
years,
remember
1957.
We all remember 1983 with Eddie
the
Murray.
Lions won their last road win.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murray lining up to get the game winner in '83. You remember Monty Clark? I remember
Divisional
watching this
round.
game. I watched this game. I remember him. He's praying on the sidelines like this, and Eddie Murray went wide right.
Look, at the end of the day, the San Francisco 49ers have shown that they can be beat at times in the season. And also, you know what the record is without CeeDee Lamb, without Deebo Samuel? They're 0-3.
That's the biggest thing to me, Braylon.
San Francisco 49ers are 0-3. You talk about who's most valuable. Is Christian? Is it this? But Deebo Samuel, they're 0-3 when he is not on the field. Simply put, he is like CD Deuce. He provides the energy. He's that spark. He's the guy rolling up with the big radio, driving the bike. He's ready to rock and roll. So if he's not in there, and even if he is, if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm beating him up the whole game. I'm pressing him at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to have to make him – he's going to have to use that shoulder. He's going to have to use that shoulder. You beat him up at the line of scrimmage. You put two on him. You bracket him. You tackle him. Put a little extra on that tackle, if you will. You beat that shoulder up. He's not going to be the same player that he was going to be before that game started yesterday.
According to Adam Schefter, Deebo Samuel is a 50-50 proposition as to whether or not he will play this week.
Oh, he's going to play. Like
50-50.
This is the NFC Championship. The next game is a Super Bowl. They'll give you that, as Dr. Pierce says, that magic cocktail. They'll give him that before the game. They'll give him that this week. Hell, he even might take a cortisone shot because he's that type of player, and this is that type of situation. This ain't the regular season, and I use ain't for it.
Hey, Ryan, before you get into the Chiefs and Bills,
I got to get a break in.
Get a break
before I
in,
do
but
that.
the Ravens look pretty darn good, too.
You know, it's funny.
Lamar Jackson looks pretty damn good.
I'll wait.
I'm interested to see this week's game.
This is passing of the torch.
You think this is it?
If Lamar wins this game, he's not the best quarterback in the league right now, based off this season. It just is what it is. If he wins this game, if he loses, it's still Mahomes.
Unbelievable. Okay, last break, guys. Let me tell you about Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years. There it is. Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. This Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, is better than Super Bowl Sunday, because not only do you get the game at 6:30, you get the game at 3 as well. It is all-day football.
We would have been the 3 o'clock game at Green Bay and won. We would have been the opener. We would have been.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because there would have been no
Correct.
West Coast teams either.
Yep.
Actually, I disagree with that. I think those slots are already built in for Fox and CBS.
You don't think the AFC games is more?
It's every other year, I believe. I'm almost certain I'm right about that, because next year I think is the 3 o'clock Fox game and then 6:30 CBS.
What if it's San Francisco?
Then
they're at noon.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. Either way.
Sorry, I didn't mean
get
to
your
interrupt.
steaks at
I didn't
Fairway
interrupt. I'm
Packing
hungry.
Company.
I'm hungry.
Maz can meet you there, and you can eat a steak.
And
with him.
interrupt your conversation.
Yeah, there you go.
When are you shooting that next commercial?
We'll go soon, Maz.
Okay.
Fairwaypacking.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists, and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Find your local Planet Fitness today. To join or visit them online at planetfitness.com.
That's my mic. Who has it better than us?
Better than Jack.
Nobody.
I want to hang out with Jack.
Nobody.
I mean, forget about Jim and John. I want to hang out with Jack Harbaugh.
How could Jim even think of leaving that guy?
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Like the chokehold that the Harbaugh brothers have, the collegiate level and the NFL level is like no other. You see John sends Mike McDonald to Michigan to vet him.
Borrow.
Hey yo, Jim, I got this young coach who's gonna be really good. Make him your defensive coordinator, and I'll vet him. If he does good, we'll bring him back. He wins Assistant of the Year. Number one defense in the country, goes back to John. Jim said, "Hey, he's ready." Takes him back, and now he leads the number one defense in total in the NFL. The things that they can do and play off each other, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it.
Pretty darn cool.
It's nuts.
Ravens and the Texans what a great first half. Houston could have had a lead in this game. They just could not penetrate that defense.
Which means they couldn't have had a lead.
Correct.
It
well,
was a
nonetheless,
first half.
They weren't going to be up 13-10. They missed the field goal, bro.
This is true, but don't act like it was.
I'm not acting.
Like it was Singletary.
The Ravens dominated.
Or C.J. Stroud.
Yes.
It was a kick return.
The Ravens dominated the second half. Lamar Jackson is the most elusive quarterback with a rocket arm that I have seen since Randall Cunningham.
They've been talking about what's the best story in the NFL. Is it Lamar Jackson's journey from year one where he started, he took over the team after, 6 games, made the playoffs, or is it the Lions? And I'm torn. And I'm absolutely torn. I'm torn because all of the Detroit Lions have been through the franchise, haven't won since 57, playoff games since 91, if you will, that year. But you look at Lamar and everything to hold this guy back. Says he couldn't be a pocket passer. He drafted him at the end of the round. 31 teams passed on this guy. Said he wasn't
32, really.
Oh, 32. You're right, because they passed on him twice. So couldn't be an NFL quarterback. Should move to wide receiver. He can't win with that style of football. That'll never make it to the NFL. Well, he can't get it done in the playoffs. Well, it's always something. All he did was stay the course. And every time he gets to that microphone, man, all he talks about is what? His team and the mission to win. I love both stories. I love both narratives. Shouts out to Lamar, who I picked to win MVP, and I picked the Ravens to win Super Bowl.
You hit it on the head, and Ryan hit it on the head with the Wolverines and Lions this year. You guys are on your game.
Not only that, but Ravens a little sluggish in that first half.
Yeah.
San Francisco a little sluggish yesterday. 20 days off.
Yeah.
That's just 20.
Yeah.
Imagine now 40.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing with college football.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out, by the way.
It ain't going to happen again, though.
I expect San Francisco to play a much better game this week than they did against the Packers.
40.
I expect the Ravens to 35, 40 days in between games.
December 4th, December 1st. That's a lot of days.
Yeah,
it's a lot of damn days.
But before you play your last meaningful game.
I got you.
All right.
It's like a tune-up game.
Yeah, I mean,
I got you.
Yeah, but the Ohio State game.
100%.
The Ohio State game to the Alabama.
Do you guys think Sean McDermott has coached his last game with Buffalo?
I do.
Do you blame him for that? I don't know if I blame him.
Look, your kicker misses a kick. Your best receiver, a top 10 guy in the league, misses. Ball goes right through his hands. That's not the coach's fault, but you are what your record says you are. Maybe you need a little bit. And the only guy I'd go to outside is Bill Belichick. I'd call Bill Belichick.
So,
I'd call Bill Belichick right now and say, coach this team.
I've been very vocal about Sean McDermott, about not liking him. I said it, and I stayed that course. But what I saw Sean McDermott do this year was very different. I saw him change. They were struggling early on. Josh Allen, here we go. They lost to the freaking Jets. I was at that game. I didn't even realize the Jets won because I left. Like Aaron Rodgers
that was a Monday night game.
Exactly. It was the first game of the season. So to watch what they did and lose to the Jets, they lost to the Patriots, I believe.
They did.
They did.
They knocked Ryan out of the pool.
They did. So to watch how they started, that is true. I'm sorry to bring that up.
Damn.
But as they start like that, you watch him fire Ken Dorsey, rightfully so, the former team of mine, but he should have gotten fired. They bring in Joe Brady, changes the offense. They won 9 games in a row. They went from not even being in the playoff picture, Maz and Ryan, to winning the division. So I think the fact that he changed, you got Brady in there who was much better for Josh Allen than Ken Dorsey, maybe even Brian Daboll as well. I think you got to give him another shot. Because I think he proved that he can change, and then he got all – and he, look, like you said, Bass missed the field goal that he should have made. I don't care about the win.
He deleted his X account today, by the way.
I would have
I feel
That's
terrible
tough.
for the guy.
I do, because it's Buffalo. So they're PTSD already with Scott Norwide.
Yeah.
So I do, but
Jim Nantz hit it on the button last night. Did you hear that call?
Wide right.
Words that Buffalo Bills fans never want to hear.
Yeah,
and
it's tough.
He hit it on the button.
That's
terrible way to lose. Kansas City, Buffalo, they gave him the game. They gave him the game. All the injuries finally caught up to the Bills on defense. You can't play with your third and fourth string guys.
I got 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, and we can explore. Take the Taylor Swift stuff out of it. Don't even consider that for a second. Who do you think the NFL wants? Would
Chiefs.
prefer in the Super
Chiefs.
Bowl? The Chiefs.
Yeah, and
Really?
probably
Chiefs and the 49ers.
I don't know about the Niners.
Are you the Lions?
I think they
now?
might want the Lions.
Oh, starts how it finished.
They might want Eminem against Taylor Swift.
There you go.
They might get the Super Bowl halftime show they've been dreaming about. Hey, Usher, listen.
Hey, remember?
We'll talk to you about it next year.
Hey, Eminem he's had his track record with blondes in the past. Remember him and Britney had a whole feud back in the day. That's when Eminem,
How about that, huh?
That's when he was young and wild though. He's not. He's a father now.
I know.
He's a father. Now.
I think national TV would want the Lions.
I think they
Finally.
absolutely want the Lions. I think they absolutely want the Lions.
Do you remember Tony Romo gushing over the Lions when they played the Chargers? CBS has the Super Bowl.
I don't
CBS
remember that.
has the Super Bowl.
You
I'll
say-
never forget it. He was
Yeah, he
gushing
was.
over the Lions.
He was, especially Ben Johnson. He was talking about Ben Johnson and Jared Goff because they're like
and Jameer Gibbs, he was loving on
just
Jameer
5
Gibbs.
touchdowns in a row. Yeah, I remember.
I'm like,
that.
well, sorry guys. I'm like, what's all this commotion going on out here, right in our bill? What's all this commotion? It's the Milwaukee Bucks heading to
it's the Bucks.
there you go.
Is there any way we can stop them from getting
Can
there?
you stop the bus? There's all these police cars. It's like, is the president around? Oh no, it's just the Milwaukee Bucks bus.
By the way, how whack is it that the Bucks are playing again at Little Caesars? They played on Saturday.
First of all,
141, 135. Good game then.
First of all, they got arguably 2 of the best players in the NFL. I mean, NBA. Maybe one is one, and one is in top 10 now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Damian Lillard. They can play 5 times in a row. All I care. Nobody's going downtown to see the Pistons. I'm going downtown to see Damian Lillard.
you're going down
and
there?
Giannis. Yeah, but I'm going to see Damian Lillard and Giannis and a couple of the Pistons players.
Ooh.
You got to win games before I'm coming to see you.
Telling you. Way to
How
go.
about yesterday? The Wings finished off the Tampa Bay sweep.
Look at that.
Remember, Lions beat Tampa Bay across the street?
Did you call TJ Reeves?
2-1. No, we didn't call.
This is
and then
right.
the Red Wings knocked off the Lightning 2-1. They play the Stars tomorrow.
Tell me they weren't motivated.
Heck yeah.
Gang, what a day today, huh? Victory Monday.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Thanks for hanging with us. We'll reschedule Hammer for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll get her in this week. Absolutely.
She's on tomorrow.
That was on us, by the way. We couldn't get her on.
User error.
User error.
We'll figure it
out.
Good.
No, you don't have to take
Somebody
responsibility
has
for that
to.
one.
Hey, look,
Let
man.
them take it.
We all take responsibility. It's not a one-man team, just like the Lions showed you. We're in this thing together. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you for staying. We appreciate you having a little back and forth banter before the show started. But once we got started, you guys made it fun. We got it rocking and rolling. More about the Lions win, and we'll start to talk about that team that is the San Francisco 49ers. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, and the Hammer will be on the show. We appreciate you guys. Oh, by the way, shout out to Beast Now. It's my brother's. My brother's
Berkeley
apparel line. Berkeley stuff is smooth. Feels good too. You can tell the boy been in the gym. We appreciate you, Kool-aid. Pete's fire back, great bounce back. Time as away, appreciate you, my brother from another mother. It's Ryan Ermanni. Love you
guys.
We are Ermanni Edwards with Maz. See you tomorrow.